now let's take this one step further, because if you're in America, or even just watching American politics closely, this part should make you pause, right? Because as I said earlier, Viktor Orbán wasn't just operating in isolation. His ideas, his strategy, and his political model didn't just influence Europe. They crossed the Atlantic. Orbán built strong ideological alignment with Trump, who openly praised his leadership style and even hosted him. And beyond Trump, many conservative thinkers and political strategists in the US studied what Orbán was doing in Hungary very closely. Why? Again, because he showed that you can maintain elections, keep the structure of democracy intact, and still consolidate power in a very real way. And that's what made his model so appealing. It didn't look like a dictatorship. It looked like democracy, but with a different set of rules. And so now that Orbán has lost, it raises a bigger question for the US. What happens to that model now? Because if one of his strongest examples has just been rejected by voters, then it forces a moment of reflection. Is this approach sustainable long term? Or does it eventually run into a wall where people decide that they've had enough? And now, to be clear, this doesn't mean that the ideas disappear, right? Far from it. Because in many ways, the conditions that allowed leaders like Orbán to rise, economic frustration, cultural anxiety, distrust in institutions, those conditions still exist in the US, in Europe, and across the world. But what this moment shows is that even when those ideas take hold, you're not immune to pushback. They're not guaranteed permanence. And that's important heading into the next phase of American politics. Because the US, as we all know, is also in the middle of its own political tension, its own debates around democracy and identity and immigration and power. And whether people realize it or not, what just happened in Hungary is part of that same global conversation. It's a signal, a data point, a moment that political strategists, leaders, and observers are all watching very closely. Because if the Orbán model, right, if the Orbán model can be challenged there, then the question becomes, could it be challenged elsewhere?